Hello, friends. I'm so glad you've joined. Senior health can feel overwhelming, but here you're never alone. Share your thoughts and worries anytime. Let me start with a story you might recognize. Imagine an older gentleman named Harold. He's 72, retired, and usually sharp when it comes to numbers jokes and memories from his youth. One afternoon, he parked his car at the grocery store and later could not remember where he left it. He felt a sudden wave of panic, his heart racing as he wandered the lot. Minutes later, he found the car, but that small lapse stayed with him. Was this the beginning of something serious or just a normal slip of aging? Harold went home that night, determined to make changes. When he read about a study showing that the Mediterranean diet may help protect memory and lower dementia risk, he felt a spark of hope. It was not about miracle cures. It was about daily choices adding up to something powerful. The Mediterranean diet has been praised for decades, but recent studies bring it into sharp focus for seniors worried about dementia. Researchers, including those connected to the National Institutes of Health and Mayo Clinic, have examined the long-term eating patterns of older adults. What they found is striking. Those who followed a Mediterranean style of eating most closely had a lower chance of developing dementia compared with those who ate a typical Western diet heavy in processed foods and red meats. This is not a promise of prevention. It is not a guarantee. But it is a sign that the food on your plate may influence the sharpness of your mind tomorrow. So what exactly does this mean for someone like Harold, or maybe someone like you? It means that breakfast could be more than a routine. It could be a choice that helps protect your brain. It means that replacing one type of fat with another might change how your body manages inflammation. It means that what feels like small steps, an apple, a handful of walnuts, a drizzle of olive oil, can add up to a steady shield around your memory. Isn't it worth wondering how much of your daily energy and clarity could be shaped by such simple choices? The Mediterranean diet is not about cutting everything out or following strict rules. It is about abundance rather than restriction. Colorful vegetables like tomatoes, spinach, and peppers. Fruits rich in antioxidants like berries and oranges. Whole grains such as oats and brown rice. Lean proteins from fish beans and poultry instead of heavy red meats. And perhaps most famously, extra virgin olive oil replacing butter and shortening. Meals are often shared with family and friends, making food not just fuel, but connection. For seniors, this social element can be just as protective for the brain as the nutrients themselves. One of the reasons scientists believe this diet helps is its effect on inflammation. Dementia, including Alzheimer's disease, is linked to chronic inflammation in the brain and damage from oxidative stress. The Mediterranean diet provides a rich supply of antioxidants from fruits and vegetables. These compounds help neutralize damaging molecules that can accumulate with age. At the same time, omega-3 fatty acids found in fish like salmon or sardines support healthy cell membranes in the brain. Fiber from beans and whole grains helps regulate blood sugar, which is vital since uncontrolled blood sugar can damage tiny blood vessels that feed the brain. Think for a moment about how all these small pieces come together. Each bite of a salad dressed with olive oil and sprinkled with nuts delivers antioxidants, healthy fats, and minerals. Each serving of fish provides the omega-3s your neurons need to communicate smoothly. Each piece of fruit offers natural sweetness while lowering the craving for sugary snacks that spike and crash your blood sugar. The Mediterranean way is not about one food, but about patterns, rhythms, and balance. What makes this truly empowering is how accessible it can be. You do not need to move to Greece or Italy to benefit. You can shop at your local grocery store, picking up canned beans, frozen vegetables, or a bag of apples. You can enjoy familiar American meals with simple swaps. Replace a heavy steak dinner with grilled chicken and roasted vegetables. Swap margarine for a drizzle of olive oil on bread. Choose oatmeal topped with berries instead of a sugary pastry. Each choice is one brushstroke on the larger canvas of your health. The study that caught Harold's attention showed that seniors who ate this way consistently had healthier outcomes over time. Consistency is the secret word. One salad will not erase years of habits. One bowl of oatmeal will not prevent dementia overnight. But day after day, week after week, the steady flow of nutrients builds resilience. For older adults who worry about losing independence, losing memories, or losing the joy of recalling names and faces, this diet is a practical step within reach. Harold decided to try. Instead of bacon and eggs every morning, he started with yogurt berries and a sprinkle of nuts. Instead of white bread sandwiches at lunch, he chose whole grain bread with hummus and vegetables. For dinner, he began enjoying fish twice a week. Within weeks, he noticed more steady energy. He was not as foggy in the afternoon. Did this prove his memory was safe forever? Of course not, but it gave him confidence and control. And sometimes that sense of control is just as valuable as the nutrients themselves. This is where we begin our journey together. Not with fear, not with promises, but with hope and practical steps. The Mediterranean diet may not erase dementia, but it may lower the risk and strengthen your health along the way. And the first step is simply understanding what this diet is and why it matters. Next, we will look closely at its core foods, how they differ from the standard American diet, and how you can bring them onto your table with ease. The Mediterranean diet is more than a list of foods. It is a way of living that has been passed down for centuries along the coasts of Greece, Italy, and Spain, where families gather around tables filled with fresh ingredients from the land and sea. At its core, this eating style emphasizes whole natural foods while reducing processed and refined items. For seniors looking to protect their memory and overall health, understanding these essentials can be the difference between confusion and clarity. At the heart of the Mediterranean diet is olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fats, which help reduce bad cholesterol and provide anti-inflammatory benefits. Instead of spreading butter on toast or frying with shortening, seniors can drizzle olive oil over vegetables or use it as a base for salad dressings. This single change introduces powerful antioxidants called polyphenols that scientists believe play a key role in brain health. Another central piece of this lifestyle is seafood. Fish such as salmon, sardines, tuna, and mackerel are consumed several times a week. These fish are packed with omega-3 fatty acids that support brain cell membranes and improve communication between neurons. Seniors who replace 2 or 3 red meat dinners with fish each week may not only protect their hearts, but also support clearer thinking. Omega-3s have been linked in multiple studies to lower rates of cognitive decline. Vegetables and fruits make up the colorful foundation of this diet. Each meal often includes multiple servings of greens, peppers, tomatoes, eggplants, onions, or zucchini. Fruits like oranges, grapes, berries, and figs are eaten as snacks or simple desserts. The bright colors of these foods signal a variety of vitamins and antioxidants. For an older adult, this means more protection against oxidative stress that can damage brain tissue. It also means steadier energy throughout the day without the crashes that come from sugary snacks. Whole grains are another pillar. Brown rice, oats, barley, and whole grain breads replace refined white bread and pasta. These grains provide fiber that keeps digestion regular, balances blood sugar, and helps the body absorb nutrients more steadily. For a senior managing diabetes or prediabetes, this can make a dramatic difference. Stable blood sugar means less stress on tiny blood vessels that feed the brain, reducing long-term risks. Legumes such as lentils, chickpeas, and beans appear regularly on the Mediterranean table. They are inexpensive, versatile, and packed with protein and fiber. For seniors on a budget, beans provide a nourishing alternative to processed meats. They also deliver minerals like magnesium and potassium, which help regulate blood pressure. Remember that brain health is tied closely to heart health. Every time blood pressure rises too high, the brain's delicate vessels are strained. By lowering that pressure through diet, you also protect memory. Nuts and seeds are another small but mighty component. Almonds, walnuts, pistachios, and sunflower seeds are often eaten as snacks or sprinkled on salads and yogurt. These foods are calorie-dense, so moderation matters. But a small handful offers healthy fats, vitamin E, and plant compounds that support cognitive health. Walnuts, in particular, have been studied for their positive effect on memory performance. Dairy appears in modest amounts, usually as yogurt or cheese. Traditional Mediterranean diets feature fermented dairy, like Greek yogurt, which provides probiotics that aid digestion and overall gut health. New research suggests a healthy gut microbiome may influence brain function and mood. For seniors, this is another layer of support, showing how connected the body truly is. Red meat sweets and heavily processed foods are limited. They are not eliminated, but they are enjoyed rarely rather than daily. In many traditional households, red meat is saved for special occasions. This balance allows seniors to enjoy favorite foods without guilt, while focusing most meals on plants, fish, and grains. Perhaps one of the most overlooked elements of the Mediterranean way is its emphasis on meals as social events. Families and friends gather to share not only food, but stories and laughter. For seniors, this reduces isolation, which is itself a risk factor for cognitive decline. Eating with others encourages slower, more mindful meals. This means better digestion, more satisfaction, and often fewer calories consumed without effort. When compared to the standard American diet, the differences become clear. The average U.S. plate is often heavy with red meat, refined carbs, and sugary snacks. Fried foods and fast foods are common, while vegetables and fruits are eaten far less. Processed oils and spreads replace natural olive oil. Sweetened drinks take the place of water or herbal tea. This pattern fuels inflammation, spikes blood sugar, and adds stress to the brain's blood supply. Over time, these habits may increase the likelihood of memory loss and dementia. The Mediterranean diet shifts the balance back toward natural, supportive foods that nourish every system in the body. For seniors who wonder how to begin, the answer is simple. Start small. Swap margarine for olive oil. Replace one soda with water or green tea. Try oatmeal with fruit instead of a pastry. Add one extra serving of vegetables to dinner. These changes may seem modest, but together they form the foundation of a lifestyle proven to support longevity and sharper minds. The Mediterranean diet is not a fad. It is not about counting calories or cutting out entire food groups. It is a sustainable, enjoyable approach that encourages variety, flavor, and connection. For seniors looking for a way to feel both healthier and more in control of their memory, it offers a pathway grounded in both tradition and science. Now that we understand what the Mediterranean diet truly is and how it stands apart from typical eating habits, the next step is exploring why it works. What happens inside the brain when these foods are consumed? Why do antioxidants, omega-3s, and fiber matter? So much for preventing dementia. In the next part, we will step into the science behind dementia and uncover how this diet can act as a shield for memory. When we talk about dementia, many people imagine it as an inevitable shadow of aging, but science paints a more nuanced picture. Dementia is not a single disease, but a collection of conditions that affect memory, reasoning, and daily life. Alzheimer's disease is the most common, but there are others, including vascular dementia, which arises from problems with blood flow in the brain. What connects them all is the gradual loss of neurons and the communication lines between them. To understand how the Mediterranean diet may help it, is important to first look at what happens inside the brain when dementia develops. Scientists have identified several processes that contribute to dementia. One is the buildup of sticky plaques called beta amyloid. These plaques interfere with the way brain cells talk to each other, creating blockages in communication. Another process involves tau proteins, which can twist into tangles inside neurons, disrupting their internal transport system. Alongside these changes, chronic inflammation and oxidative stress accelerate the damage. Over time, neurons die, and the brain's networks weaken, leading to the symptoms so many families dread: confusion, memory loss, and difficulty performing everyday tasks. Inflammation is especially harmful. In a healthy body, inflammation is a defense mechanism that helps heal injuries or fight infections. But when it lingers, it can turn destructive. Think of it as a small fire that never goes out. In the brain, this smoldering inflammation can damage delicate tissues, making them more vulnerable to disease. Oxidative stress compounds the problem. Every cell in the body produces energy, but in the process, it creates unstable molecules called free radicals. Normally, antioxidants keep them in check, but when they outnumber defenses, they begin to harm cells, including neurons. This is where the Mediterranean diet enters the story. Its foods are naturally rich in nutrients that fight these damaging processes. Fruits and vegetables are loaded with antioxidants like vitamin C, vitamin E, and flavonoids. These compounds neutralize free radicals before they can injure brain cells. Olive oil provides polyphenols, another group of antioxidants with powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Fish supplies omega-3 fatty acids, which not only build healthy cell membranes, but also calm inflammation at a chemical level. Whole grains and legumes add fiber, which steadies blood sugar. This matters because sharp spikes in glucose can cause oxidative stress and damage the small blood vessels that supply oxygen to the brain. Several large studies have confirmed these benefits. Research published through the National Institutes of Health has shown that older adults who followed the Mediterranean diet closely scored better on memory and cognitive tests over time. Another study from the Mayo Clinic linked adherence to this diet with slower brain shrinkage, a natural part of aging that accelerates with dementia. These findings do not mean the diet is a cure. They do not mean every person who eats this way will avoid memory loss. What they do show is that nutrition has the power to shift the odds in favor of resilience. For example, consider the effect of omega-3s on brain health. The human brain is nearly 60% fat, and much of this is made of DHA, an omega-3 fatty acid found in fish. When seniors eat more fish, they replenish this critical building block. Studies suggest that people with higher blood levels of omega-3s perform better on memory tests and may experience less brain atrophy as they age. The same is true for antioxidants. A diet rich in berries, spinach, and nuts has been linked to lower levels of markers for oxidative stress. The mechanism is simple: antioxidants donate electrons to free radicals, disarming them before they can damage DNA or cell membranes. The Mediterranean diet also supports blood vessels, and this is crucial for brain health. The brain demands about 20% of the body's oxygen and energy, even though it makes up only 2% of body weight. Any disruption in blood flow, whether from clogged arteries or high blood pressure, can starve brain tissue. That is why vascular dementia is so common. By lowering cholesterol, reducing blood pressure, and improving circulation, the Mediterranean diet indirectly protects the brain's lifeline. Foods like beans. Whole grains and leafy greens are especially effective here because they provide potassium and magnesium minerals that relax blood vessels and stabilize pressure. For seniors who may feel overwhelmed by the biology, the takeaway is simple. The foods you choose each day either feed the fire of inflammation or help put it out. They either add to oxidative stress or supply the antioxidants that protect against it. They either strain your blood vessels or support their strength. The Mediterranean diet tilts the balance toward healing resilience and clarity. Picture an older woman named Ruth. She had watched her mother struggle with Alzheimer's and feared the same fate. Instead of surrendering to worry, she decided to act. She began eating oatmeal with blueberries each morning, cooking salmon twice a week, and drizzling olive oil over her vegetables. She did not expect miracles, but she felt more energy and fewer afternoon foggy spells. More importantly, she felt she was doing her part to strengthen her brain. That sense of empowerment is something every senior deserves. This is the science that supports the promise. Dementia is not only about genes or bad luck. Lifestyle matters. Nutrition matters. Each choice at the table is an investment in brain health. Now that we understand the biological reasons why the Mediterranean diet works, it becomes even more important to explore how these benefits show up in daily life beyond memory. The next part will look at how this way of eating improves not only the brain, but the heart, the blood vessels, and the body as a whole, helping seniors enjoy more energy, strength, and confidence. When seniors think about diet and health, memory may be the most frightening concern. But the Mediterranean diet does not stop at protecting the brain. Its benefits spread across the entire body. Weaving together heart health, blood sugar control, and overall vitality. This connection between the brain and the rest of the body is often overlooked. Yet researchers remind us again and again that what is good for the heart is good for the brain. By lowering risks of cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, and diabetes, the Mediterranean diet creates an environment where the brain can thrive. Imagine a 70-year-old grandfather who loves to walk with his grandchildren in the park. He notices that after adopting Mediterranean-style meals, his legs feel lighter, his breathing steadier, and he can keep up without needing frequent rests. These improvements are not separate from brain health. Every step he takes sends oxygen-rich blood to his brain, and the diet support for circulation makes this possible. Better blood flow means more nourishment for neurons and a reduced chance of small strokes that can damage memory. One of the strongest benefits of the Mediterranean diet is its effect on blood pressure. High blood pressure silently damages arteries, making them stiff and narrow. Over time, this starves the brain of the steady flow it needs. By filling meals with vegetables, legumes, and whole grains, seniors consume natural sources of potassium and magnesium. These minerals help relax blood vessels and balance fluids, lowering strain on the circulatory system. In studies, people who followed this eating pattern had significantly lower risks of hypertension and related complications. For the aging brain, that translates into fewer interruptions in blood supply and less risk of vascular dementia. Cholesterol is another silent player. Too much LDL cholesterol leads to plaque buildup in the arteries, both in the heart and the brain. A Mediterranean pattern with olive oil, nuts, and fatty fish raises HDL, the good cholesterol, while reducing LDL. This means arteries stay clearer. Blood flows more smoothly, and oxygen delivery to the brain remains uninterrupted. Seniors who trade fried meats for fish or butter for olive oil are not only protecting their hearts, but also giving their brains the oxygen pipeline they need. Blood sugar control is just as critical. Diabetes and prediabetes are widespread among older adults, and both conditions heighten the risk of dementia. High blood sugar damages delicate vessels and fuels inflammation, creating a double blow to brain function. The Mediterranean diet stabilizes blood sugar through fiber-rich foods like beans, oats, and vegetables. Instead of dramatic spikes and crashes, the body enjoys steady energy. Seniors often report feeling less sluggish in the afternoon when they swap refined carbs for whole grains. This steadiness also reduces the wear and tear on the brain's support system, preserving clarity and focus. Weight management becomes easier with this lifestyle too. Because the diet emphasizes nutrient-dense foods, seniors often feel satisfied without overeating. Extra pounds, especially around the midsection, are linked with higher risks of heart disease, diabetes, and memory loss. By filling plates with vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats, older adults can maintain a stable weight without strict calorie counting. The natural variety and flavors of the Mediterranean approach make it enjoyable, which is key to long-term success. Energy is another daily reward. When meals provide a balance of complex carbs, proteins, and fats, the body avoids the highs and lows that come with sugary snacks. Seniors often describe feeling more alert and capable of handling daily routines. Something as simple as remembering where you left your glasses or finishing a crossword puzzle may feel easier with a steady flow of nutrients. These small victories build confidence and reinforce the value of sticking with healthier meals. Beyond the physical, the Mediterranean lifestyle carries emotional benefits. Sharing meals with friends or family creates joy and reduces loneliness. Seniors who gather for group dinners or cooking clubs find that the act of preparing and eating food together strengthens bonds. Emotional well-being directly influences cognitive health. When a person feels supported and socially engaged, their risk of depression and isolation decreases, and their brain benefits from that connection. The broader health gains of the Mediterranean diet also ease fears about medication and hospital visits. While no diet can replace necessary treatment, reducing risks for chronic diseases can mean fewer prescriptions and fewer doctor's visits. For a senior on a fixed income, this translates into both financial relief and peace of mind. The ability to walk without pain, remember names without struggle, and enjoy meals without guilt becomes part of everyday life. Research continues to back up these wide-ranging effects. Studies published by the National Institutes of Health and the American Heart Association link Mediterranean eating to lower rates of heart attack, stroke, and diabetes. These findings reinforce the idea that brain health does not exist in isolation. The mind is supported by every heartbeat, every vessel, and every bite of food that strengthens or weakens the system. This is why the Mediterranean diet stands out as a holistic approach. It does not focus narrowly on memory, but embraces the entire body. Seniors who adopt it can expect benefits that ripple through their daily lives. They may notice more stamina when gardening, sharper focus during conversations, or steadier moods when spending time with loved ones. These are the practical lived outcomes of an eating style rooted in centuries of tradition and validated by modern science. If you find this helpful, consider subscribing so you won't miss the next tip. Small steps can lead to powerful changes, and staying informed keeps you moving forward with confidence. Now that we have explored the broad health advantages of the Mediterranean diet, the next part will guide you on how to bring these foods into your kitchen. From simple swaps at the grocery store to easy recipes, you will see how to make this way of eating part of your daily life without stress or complication. For many seniors, the question is not whether the Mediterranean diet sounds healthy, but how to make it a daily reality. Reading about olive oil and fish is one thing, but standing in a grocery aisle or cooking for one person can feel overwhelming. The good news is that small practical steps can transform meals without turning life upside down. Adopting this way of eating is not about expensive specialty foods or complicated recipes. It is about learning simple swaps, building routines, and finding joy in food again. Consider breakfast, often described as the most important meal of the day. Instead of a sugary pastry or a heavy plate of bacon and eggs, imagine starting with a bowl of oatmeal topped with fresh berries and a sprinkle of walnuts. Oats provide whole grains and fiber. The berries supply antioxidants, and walnuts add healthy fats that nourish the brain. Yogurt can be another easy choice, especially Greek yogurt with its creamy texture and higher protein. Adding fruit and a drizzle of honey makes it both satisfying and protective for your memory. For seniors who prefer something warm, a slice of whole grain toast with avocado and tomato brings healthy fats and vegetables to the start of the day. Lunch can also be transformed without much effort. A typical sandwich made with white bread and processed meats might be swapped for whole grain bread filled with hummus, roasted vegetables, and leafy greens. This combination delivers plant protein, fiber, and vitamins while cutting back on sodium and unhealthy fats. Another option is a salad with mixed greens, beans, olives, and grilled chicken. A drizzle of olive oil and lemon juice ties it all together with flavor and health benefits. For those who find salads boring, adding roasted sweet potatoes or a sprinkle of feta cheese can make them more enjoyable. Dinner is often the centerpiece meal, and it is where the Mediterranean diet shines. Instead of frying meat or ordering fast food, seniors can prepare baked salmon with herbs and olive oil paired with roasted vegetables and brown rice. The fish supplies omega-3s, the vegetables provide antioxidants, and the rice offers steady energy. If salmon feels too costly, canned tuna or sardines are affordable alternatives. Another favorite is a simple bean stew with tomatoes, onions, and garlic. This kind of meal is filling, budget-friendly, and deeply nourishing. Poultry can also play a role with grilled chicken or turkey paired with whole grains and vegetables, offering variety without relying on red meat. Snacking, often a challenge, can be reshaped with Mediterranean options. Instead of chips or candy, a handful of almonds or pistachios satisfies hunger while delivering nutrients. Carrot sticks dipped in hummus provide crunch and flavor. Fresh fruit, like apples, oranges, or grapes, makes an easy portable snack. For those who crave something sweet, a small square of dark chocolate can be enjoyed without guilt, especially when balanced with other healthy choices. Practical swaps at the grocery store make these meals possible. Replacing butter with extra virgin olive oil is one of the simplest yet most powerful changes. Choosing brown rice over white rice or whole grain pasta instead of refined pasta shifts meals toward fiber and steadier blood sugar. Picking up frozen vegetables ensures that healthy ingredients are always on hand even when fresh produce is not available. Canned beans can save time and money, especially when rinsed to reduce sodium. Seniors shopping on a budget can focus on these versatile staples to stretch both dollars and health. Cooking for one is another challenge many older adults face. Preparing large meals can feel wasteful or lonely, and so quick processed foods become the default. To overcome this, it helps to cook in batches and store portions in the freezer. A pot of vegetable soup or a tray of roasted vegetables can be divided into smaller servings ready for reheating on busy days. Sharing meals with friends or neighbors can also make cooking more enjoyable. Even something as simple as preparing a salad together creates connection and motivation. For those who do not enjoy spending time in the kitchen, the Mediterranean diet can still fit. Meals do not need to be elaborate. A plate of whole grain crackers with cheese fruit and a few nuts counts as a Mediterranean-inspired meal. A quick stir-fry with frozen vegetables, olive oil, and canned tuna can be ready in minutes. The key is not perfection, but consistency. Each small decision in favor of whole natural foods adds up over time. It is important to remember that taste matters. Seniors are more likely to stay committed when meals are flavorful and enjoyable. Using herbs and spices such as basil, oregano, rosemary, and garlic adds depth without relying on salt. A splash of lemon juice brightens vegetables and fish. Exploring recipes from Mediterranean countries can bring variety and inspiration, turning meals into adventures rather than chores. For many older adults, the barrier is not knowledge but confidence. They may believe that changing lifelong habits is too hard or too late. But evidence shows that improvements in diet at any age can have benefits. Even in later years, the body responds positively to healthier fuel. Seniors who gradually add more vegetables, replace unhealthy fats, and reduce processed foods often notice more energy, steadier moods, and better digestion within weeks. These early wins make it easier to continue. Bringing the Mediterranean diet to the table is not about adopting someone else's culture entirely, but about embracing the principles in ways that fit daily life. Whether that means choosing olive oil over butter, enjoying beans twice a week, or preparing fish on Sundays, every step counts. The diet is flexible and forgiving, making it sustainable for seniors who want long-term health. Now that the practical steps are clear, the next part will focus on myths and misunderstandings. Many people hesitate to try the Mediterranean diet because they believe it is too expensive, too complicated, or too difficult to maintain. By addressing these common doubts, seniors can move forward with confidence and clarity, knowing that healthful eating is not only possible, but also enjoyable. One of the biggest reasons seniors hesitate to try the Mediterranean diet is the cloud of myths surrounding it. These myths make it seem expensive, complicated, or unrealistic. But the truth is far simpler. Once the misunderstandings are cleared away, this way of eating becomes approachable and even enjoyable. The first myth is that it costs too much. People often picture fresh fish every day, exotic olives, or imported olive oil. In reality, many Mediterranean staples are among the most affordable foods in the grocery store. Beans, lentils, oats, brown rice, and seasonal fruits or vegetables are inexpensive filling and widely available. Canned tuna or sardines provide omega-3 at a fraction of the cost of fresh salmon. Buying store-brand olive oil and using it in moderation is often no more costly than buying margarine or butter. For seniors on fixed incomes, focusing on these simple, affordable items makes the Mediterranean approach not only possible, but budget-friendly. The second myth is that it is complicated. Some imagine long recipes filled with ingredients they have never heard of, or hours spent chopping vegetables. But the Mediterranean diet does not demand gourmet cooking. It emphasizes simplicity. A bowl of beans with tomatoes, onions, and garlic is authentic and takes little effort. A salad with lettuce, cucumbers, and olive oil is as Mediterranean as anything served on the coast of Greece. Even scrambled eggs with spinach and a side of fruit fits the pattern. Meals can be quick, flexible, and tailored to what is on hand. For seniors who may not have the energy for elaborate cooking, this simplicity is a relief. The third myth is that one meal or one day will not make a difference. Some think that if they cannot follow the diet perfectly every day, it is not worth trying at all. But research shows that consistency, not perfection, is what matters. A single plate of vegetables or a serving of fish does not erase years of unhealthy habits. Yet over time, repeating these small choices builds resilience. Think of it as weaving a safety net. Each strand may seem thin, but together they form a strong support for brain and body. Even modest adherence to the Mediterranean diet has been linked to benefits for memory, heart health, and longevity. So seniors should not give up if they have a day or two of less healthy eating. Each new day is another opportunity to add protective foods. Another misunderstanding is the belief that the Mediterranean diet is about restriction. People sometimes imagine they will have to give up favorite foods forever. In truth, the diet is about balance, not deprivation. Red meat is not banned. It is simply eaten less often. Sweets are not forbidden. They are saved for special occasions. Seniors can still enjoy family traditions and favorite flavors. The difference is that healthier foods take center stage most of the time. This flexibility makes the diet sustainable. It also prevents feelings of guilt or failure that come with strict rules. Seniors who approach it with a spirit of balance are more likely to succeed. Some worry about taste. They assume healthy foods are bland or unsatisfying. Yet Mediterranean meals are known for their rich flavors. Herbs like basil, oregano, and rosemary, spices like cumin or cinnamon, and fresh ingredients like lemon and garlic make dishes lively and delicious. When seniors try these combinations, many are surprised at how satisfying they are. Flavor is part of why this eating style has lasted for centuries. It pleases the palate while nourishing the body, showing that healthy food does not have to be boring. There is also the myth that seniors with limited mobility or health conditions cannot manage this lifestyle. The reality is that Mediterranean eating can be adapted to any situation. Frozen vegetables reduce the need for chopping. Pre-washed salads cut down preparation time. Canned beans and fish are ready to eat with little effort. Meals can be assembled in minutes without standing long at the stove. For those with dietary restrictions, substitutions are possible. Gluten-free whole grains like quinoa or brown rice replace bread or pasta. Low-fat dairy can be chosen for those watching cholesterol. This adaptability ensures that no one is left out. Finally, some fear that starting late in life is pointless. They believe that benefits only come to those who begin young. But studies show otherwise. Even older adults who switch to Mediterranean eating patterns experience improvements in blood pressure, cholesterol, and cognitive performance. The body and brain remain responsive to positive changes at any age. Seniors who begin in their 70s or 80s can still add quality years to their lives. This truth should be a source of encouragement. It is never too late to start caring for your health through food. Debunking these myths is essential because they act as barriers that keep people from trying. Once seniors realize the diet is affordable, simple, flexible, tasty, adaptable, and beneficial at any age, the excuses fade away. What remains is an open path to better living. The Mediterranean diet is not a distant ideal, but a realistic option for everyday life. It does not require perfection or wealth. It requires only a willingness to make small, steady choices that add up over time. With the myths addressed, seniors can move forward with confidence. The next step is learning how to stay consistent. Because while it is easy to get excited in the beginning, the real power comes from maintaining habits over months and years. In the next part, we will explore strategies for meal planning cooking with friends, adapting recipes, and finding joy in the routine of nourishing yourself with care. The real strength of the Mediterranean diet is not in trying it for a week, but in making it part of everyday life. For seniors, consistency often feels like the hardest part. Energy may be lower, cooking may feel like a chore, and old habits can be deeply ingrained. Yet with the right strategies, this lifestyle becomes not just manageable, but enjoyable. It begins with meal planning. Taking a little time once a week to think about what to eat makes all the difference. Writing down 3 or 4 simple dinners, such as baked fish with vegetables, a bean soup, or a whole grain salad removes the stress of daily decisions. Keeping staple ingredients like olive oil, beans, and oats on hand ensures that there is always a healthy option available. For seniors who sometimes feel overwhelmed in the grocery store, having a list focused on these staples makes shopping easier and less expensive. Cooking with others is another key to consistency. The Mediterranean way has always been about community, not isolation. Seniors who join cooking clubs, share meals with neighbors, or prepare food with family often find that the social aspect motivates them. Preparing a large pot of vegetable soup or roasting a tray of vegetables together creates not only nourishment, but connection. Even if mobility is limited, inviting a friend or caregiver to help in the kitchen can turn a task into a joyful activity. Eating alone often leads to shortcuts, like processed meals or skipping vegetables. Sharing meals makes healthy eating feel natural and rewarding. Adapting recipes to individual needs is important as well. Some seniors must limit salt for blood pressure or reduce certain fats for heart health. The Mediterranean diet is flexible enough to allow this. Herbs, spices, lemon, and garlic add flavor without sodium. Low-fat yogurt can replace cream in dips and sauces, and rice or quinoa can replace bread for those who are gluten sensitive. For people with difficulty chewing cooked vegetables and soups, make it easier to enjoy the same nutrients. These adaptations keep meals enjoyable while protecting health. Consistency also depends on making the diet sustainable financially. Seniors on limited budgets may worry that fresh fish and imported products are out of reach. But the Mediterranean lifestyle does not require luxury. Canned beans, frozen vegetables, and seasonal fruits are affordable and nutritious. Canned sardines, tuna, or mackerel provide the same omega-3s as more expensive salmon. Buying whole grains in bulk lowers cost per serving. Even olive oil, when used sensibly, stretches across many meals. Seniors who learn to shop smart discover that this diet often saves money compared with processed or fast food. Another strategy is to create small rituals around meals. For example, drinking a glass of water with lemon before eating or starting dinner with a simple salad sets a tone of care and mindfulness. These rituals make meals feel special and encourage slower eating, which aids digestion and satisfaction. Seniors who treat food as an experience rather than a chore often find themselves looking forward to mealtimes again. Support from caregivers and family can also make a difference. Adult children can help stock kitchens with healthy staples, cook meals together on weekends, or encourage parents to try new recipes. Caregivers can use simple Mediterranean meal templates to reduce stress and ensure balance. When seniors feel supported, they are more likely to stick with new habits. Families benefit too, since the same foods that protect senior brains also support younger generations. Maintaining consistency does not mean never slipping. Everyone has holidays cravings or days when convenience wins. What matters is returning to balance the next day. Seniors should be encouraged to view the diet not as strict rules, but as a compass. If most meals follow the Mediterranean pattern, occasional treats will not erase the benefits. This forgiving approach helps avoid the guilt that often derails long-term change. Celebrating small successes reinforces consistency. Seniors who notice improvements in energy, digestion, or mood should take pride in those changes. Writing them down or sharing them with loved ones builds motivation. Remembering names more easily. Walking with steadier steps or feeling satisfied after a light meal are signs that the body is responding positively. These small wins add up, building confidence and creating a positive cycle of effort and reward. Community resources can also support consistency. Many senior centers and local health organizations offer cooking classes or group meals inspired by the Mediterranean diet. Churches or community groups sometimes host potlucks where healthier dishes can be shared. Seniors who engage in these opportunities gain not only food ideas, but friendships that reduce loneliness. The Mediterranean approach is as much about connection as nutrition, and community involvement strengthens both. Technology can play a role too. Simple apps or websites provide Mediterranean recipes, grocery lists, and meal ideas. Seniors who use tablets or smartphones can explore new dishes with photos and step-by-step instructions. Even those who prefer pen and paper can benefit from printing a few favorite recipes to keep on the fridge. Having a visual reminder makes it easier to stay on track. Consistency ultimately comes from finding joy. When meals are delicious, satisfying, and shared, the diet stops feeling like a program and starts feeling like a way of life. Seniors who discover favorite Mediterranean dishes, whether it is roasted vegetables with olive oil, lentil soup, or grilled fish with lemon, create habits they actually want to repeat. Over time, these habits become second nature. By staying consistent, seniors unlock the full potential of the Mediterranean diet. The brain receives steady protection. The heart and blood vessels remain supported, and the body gains strength and energy. More importantly, life becomes fuller, with meals turning into moments of connection and care. Now that we have explored how to maintain this lifestyle day after day, it is time to step back and see the bigger picture. In the next part, we will recap the journey, reflect on the main takeaways, and empower seniors to begin making choices that may protect their memories and enrich their lives. As we come to the end of this journey, it is worth pausing to see the full picture. The Mediterranean diet is not just another health trend, not a set of rules to memorize, and certainly not a miracle cure. It is a way of living that has stood the test of centuries, embraced by families who valued food as nourishment and connection. For seniors today, it offers hope, protection, and empowerment at a time when many worry about memory loss and declining health. We began with the story of Harold, who feared that forgetting his car might mean the start of something worse. What gave him peace was not a pill or a promise, but the realization that every meal is a chance to strengthen his mind. The evidence we have explored makes a powerful case. Dementia develops through a mix of plaques, tangles, inflammation, and oxidative stress. While these processes are complex, their effects are clear. Memory fades, confusion grows, and independence slips away. But the foods of the Mediterranean diet target these very processes. Antioxidants from fruits and vegetables neutralize harmful molecules. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish build stronger brain cell membranes and reduce inflammation. Whole grains and legumes stabilize blood sugar and protect tiny blood vessels. Together, these elements create an environment where the brain can resist damage longer. This is not speculation. Studies from institutions like the National Institutes of Health and Mayo Clinic consistently link Mediterranean-style eating with slower cognitive decline, better test scores, and healthier brain scans in older adults. Beyond the brain, the benefits ripple through the body. High blood pressure. Cholesterol and blood sugar are silent threats that also raise the risk of dementia. By addressing them, the Mediterranean diet safeguards not just the mind, but the heart and circulation. Seniors who adopt this way of eating often report steadier energy, lighter steps, and brighter moods. These improvements may seem small day by day, but together they build a stronger, more resilient body. When the body thrives, the brain follows. The practical side is equally important. We have seen how easy swaps can make a difference: olive oil instead of butter beans instead of processed meats, fish instead of fried fast food. Meals do not need to be fancy or expensive. A bowl of lentil soup, a piece of whole grain bread, a salad dressed with olive oil and lemon. These are simple, affordable, and deeply nourishing. Even seniors cooking for one or managing on a tight budget can find comfort and health in these staples. Consistency, not perfection, is the key. Each day offers another chance to add protective foods and reduce harmful ones. We also tackled the myths that hold people back. Too expensive, Too complicated, too late to start none of these stand up to the evidence. The Mediterranean diet adapts to every circumstance. Frozen vegetables, canned beans, and inexpensive fish all fit. Quick, simple meals require little preparation. And studies confirm that benefits arrive at any age, even for those who begin in their 70s or 80s. The truth is simple. It is never too late to take action, and every small step forward makes a difference. What makes this approach sustainable is not only its health benefits, but its enjoyment. Seniors who cook with friends, share meals with family, and discover favorite recipes are more likely to stay consistent. Flavorful herbs. Bright fruits and satisfying grains create meals that delight the palate as much as they nourish the body. Eating becomes a joy rather than a chore, a chance to connect and celebrate rather than count and restrict. This spirit of abundance is why the Mediterranean diet has endured for centuries and why it fits so naturally into the lives of older adults seeking both health and happiness. As you reflect on this journey, remember the key takeaways. The Mediterranean diet may lower the risk of dementia by reducing inflammation, supporting blood vessels, and protecting brain cells with powerful nutrients. It strengthens the heart, steadies blood sugar, and provides lasting energy. It is flexible, affordable, and adaptable, making it accessible to nearly everyone. It is built not on sacrifice, but on flavor and connection. And most importantly, it is never too late to start. Each new meal is a new opportunity to support your memory, your body, and your quality of life. So where do you begin? Perhaps with a single choice at your next meal. Add a handful of nuts to your oatmeal. Swap soda for water with lemon. Try salmon or canned sardines instead of red meat. These changes may feel small, but they are the first steps on a path that leads to resilience and clarity. Over weeks and months, they form a pattern, and that pattern is what protects. This journey ends with encouragement, not pressure. The Mediterranean diet is not a race or a test. It is a companion, a guide, a set of tools you can use at your own pace. Whether you live alone with a partner or surrounded by family, you can embrace its principles in ways that feel natural. Each step forward is meaningful. Each choice a quiet act of self-care. The big picture is this: you are not powerless. Dementia may be a fear, but it is not an unavoidable fate. With every plate of colorful vegetables, every drizzle of olive oil, and every gathering shared with loved ones, you are shaping your future. Protecting memory is not only possible, but within reach. If something feels new or worrying, schedule a checkup this week. Your health journey deserves attention and care. Your voice matters. If you found this helpful, please like, share, and comment with the next subject you would like us to cover.